tell you about more boosts happening throughout the day. Reporting live. Good morning, guys. We are here at Giving Hearts Day, where they have raised more than $500,000 in donations, and that's going to one of 476 organizations participating this year. Giving Hearts Day has helped charities raise more than $70 million since 2008. The minimum donation is $10. Last year, more than $13 million was given, and more than 28,000 people donated. Now, you can donate until about 12 tonight. And WDAY isn't going anywhere. Coming up, we're going to tell you about more boosts that are being given away throughout the day. Reporting live, Janessa Andiorio, WDAY News.
from the heat wave stole my emotions. I left my doubts when I was swept by the ocean, and every pulse from the tide was a finish line. A wave race we were made to ride. You and I were first in line, and we took them by surprise. I was with you all the time. You may not realize, but I'm here. I hear your love declare. When we get lost in our own minds, you'll be keeping me near. roads intersect, on each one I reflect. These lines write my story, these places change me, each one replacing, like night into morning. I miss the open air, the going anywhere, riding with you, like we used to.
This is Pat Trainer welcoming you to Giving Hearts Day 2020. We are having a great day here. What time is it now, Scott, officially?
It is 7:18 and 11 seconds.
Oh my gosh, what's the total right now?
Total is $2.1 million raised by over 3,000 givers.
We have a special guest with us that's been with us for every single Giving Hearts Day since 2008. His name is Grant. Grant, you've been with us a long time. What do you think about Giving Hearts Day? What do you think, Scott?
That sounds exactly like somebody who's seen all 13 of them, Pat.
Grant, you've been a special part of the DMF family, and we love having you spend the day with us. He's seen the zoo. He's seen all sorts of great organizations, you know, that are part of Giving Hearts Day. And what an incredible journey it's been. You know, I think we've raised more this year in the first few hours than we did in the first 4 years combined.
Absolutely. It's really phenomenal to see so much generosity and just knowing what the impact of each of those dollars are going to do.
Grant, what school do you go to?
Nativity.
Nativity. Let's hear it for Nativity in Fargo. And do you have gift cards at Nativity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And who are you going to give to today?
Homeless.
The homeless? That's really great. Grant is giving to the homeless, and what a wonderful inspiration Grant is to all of us being involved in Giving Hearts Day from his infancy, going to the Giving Hearts Day celebration in 2008. Every year you've been with us. So our hat's off to you, Grant. Thanks for being a part of this special day. Scott, let's hear it for the charities that have been preparing for this event. Tell us a little bit about all these charities.
Well, and I sure will. And I do also want to recognize that Grant is probably our first and youngest donor, our youngest first donor in Giving Hearts Day ever.
That is true.
I think that's a true statement.
That's true. Let's hear it for Grant.
Yay, Grant! So we've got nearly 500 causes participating this year, Pat. Each of them have worked hard all year. And that's something, if you're not familiar with the Giving Hearts Day process, it's an entire path up to this day that starts in September. And so these organizations have been putting together campaigns around social media about visiting with donors and companies about what dollars will do to impact their missions. And it's absolutely phenomenal, the hard work that they've done. And they are all improving the quality of life around us. And so each dollar that you give is going to go to a worthy cause. They have been part of a vetting process. They have been working hard on their campaigns. So let's reward them and help to move their good missions forward.
The other message that we'd like to carry today is just simply gratitude. Gratitude for all the giving hearts that are out there. You know, our first donor here of Giving Hearts Day back in 2008, and the more than 30,000 people that gave last year, they gave 67,000 gifts. We're going to break those records today because we do live in the most generous place on the planet. We want to thank them. We want to start with the gratitude to those wonderful people that open up their checkbooks, they open up their heart, and they support these great charities across the region. It's simply astounding to see the goodness, the kindness, the caring that goes on in this day. And then throughout the whole year, by the work of these charities that take care of the sick, they feed the hungry, they house the homeless, they work with special needs kids. They provide opera, they provide the zoo. I mean, there are so many charities that can connect with your heart today. Please go on to givingheartsday.org. Give to one or more of these causes. And Grant, do you want to wish everybody a happy Giving Hearts Day?
Yeah.
Say Happy Giving Hearts Day.
Happy Giving Hearts Day.
Way to go, Grant.
Thank you, Grant.
Thanks, Scott. for having us here today.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Grant. Grant is also a cover model for Fargo Monthly. He has been featured. You can find that online. Also, one of the many amenities of being one of the youngest donors of our first year and alumnus. So, Grant, thank you so much for you and your family and all of the support that you've given Giving Hearts Day. Pat, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
I think we
and
wanted
let's
to
do a
cheer.
toast.
A toast to happy technology, wonderful causes, and generous donors.
Hear, hear. Cheers.
All right, thank you both.
Come on, Grant.
We're going to continue with the live show here, and we're going to have our first guest, St. John's Preschool. So Jana and her team, if you'd be willing to come to the stage. If you're just joining us, we're here live from the Live Wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. We'll be here all day. If you're in the area, feel free to stop by. We've got donation stations. We've got lots of caffeine. We've got Colorado Jack's popcorn. Lots of fun things happening. Additionally, all over our region, charities are also hosting events, and so be sure to check one of those out. We'll be broadcasting from Facebook Live all day, and the feed will be up and running all the way until midnight. So thanks for joining with us.
Good morning, Scott.
Hi, Jana. We had too many chairs. We're a little too far away. Maybe I'll... Kent, where do you want us? Right here? Okay. There we go. Jana, welcome to Ghd TV.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So, Jana, for everybody that's tuning in, could you tell us about St. John's Preschool? A little bit about what it does and how it impacts the kids that come there.
Absolutely. My name is Jana Brushwine. I'm the director of St. John Christian Preschool, and we serve 90 families. We nurture kids, we support parents and families, and we serve our community. We've grown from a preschool of 25 kids. We are now well over 90 in the last 9 or 10 years. And thanks a lot due to Giving Hearts Day. Last year was our first year participating. We raised $25,000, which allowed 18 families to come and experience our program.
Well, that's absolutely phenomenal. And, I know that your preschool is a very special place. And so could you share with us a little bit just about the approach or maybe the tone that you take with each of these young ones that are in your care?
Sure. We are a nurtured heart preschool, meaning everyone on my staff, before they have the privilege of interacting with the child who comes through our doors, is extensively trained in the nurtured heart approach. And the nurtured heart approach is a way of seeing what is the best part of a child. We all know they have intense moments that make us kind of want to scream. But how can we help kids channel that intensity into positive ways? So I would just like to shout out to Grant. What does it take to be a kid, to get up so early, to show up here? Your dedication, Grant, to Giving Hearts Day, and your bravery to stand in front of cameras and all these adults, wow. Those are the kinds of statements that we confront kids with every day, because we believe when we give kids labels of being responsible and dedicated, they live more into them every single day. And it's really become our mission to not only let kids feel that, but to let parents feel that, and to see a new way to see their child's intensity. And so this year on Giving Hearts Day, we hope to raise money that we can train all families in the nurtured heart approach. So it is our vision that for the 2 years that a family walks with us, that we train them and that we support them. So imagine that, Scott, having someone walk beside you in your parenting in your darkest moments and say, I got you, let's talk this out. We're here. We see what's amazing about your child.
Well, and you can see why there's been such a positive response in our community and the growth of your numbers. Seeing, also viewing this as a pleasure to be able to work with these kiddos, and then having it being a transformational experience to support families. And we all are going to go through moments of intensity. And not only does this make us better parents, but better humans as we're doing our best to train up our little kiddos to do that as well.
I dare say your intensity is what got you here today, Scott. And it may have at times been the angst of your mom, but to not squash that is what allowed you to be here and shine today. And that's what we want to do with all the kids that come into our program. And not only our program, but our highly trained staff is out in the community training daycares and child care centers and in entire school districts on how to be this loving and caring of the unique gifts that each individual has.
Well, and I love that. And on that note, I mean, it is so true. If you're hyper, that can be a challenge for teachers. And I was brought up to say that is a bit of a problem. But then you're an adult and it's like a superpower. So imagine how many kids are getting squashed when they could be using this for success.
Let me give you an example of a family who wrote, this is a letter I got just the other day. Thank you for the work you do with all your students and the reach you have within the community spreading the Nurtured Heart approach. Most of all, thank you for taking a chance on our child when he struggled in another setting. The difference that we have seen in our child and in our parenting at home have been life-changing. Since we took a Nurtured Heart training, we have learned to focus on our children's strengths, praise the positives instead of focusing on the 5 minutes of poor behavior. The teachers at St. John not only teach academics, but also social, emotional skills and self-regulation that he will take to kindergarten and throughout his life. He still has tough moments, but with the support of his teachers, he has learned to reset, to breathe, and to join back into the fun quickly. We'll never be able to say or show how truly grateful and appreciative we are of these amazing teachers and the love they have shown not only our son, but our entire family. So when people say, what makes you different? Preschools are designed to prepare kids for kindergarten. We took that a next step and said, let's prepare kids, but let's support families and really help them feel that they are doing the best job that they can.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful, and you know, just to hear and to see, yeah, and you've got some pictures with too, so we can literally see. But the transformation that takes place when we take this approach that these are not problems, these are actually possibilities. And so, you know, as we start to close this segment, could you maybe share some of the pictures you brought with, Jana?
I have a picture of the amazing Preschool Greatness Squad.
All right.
They have special vision that they see the greatness in everyone who enters our doors. And then also I want to, before we leave, I want to tell you another program that's really important to us. We have an ambassador program. We consider ourselves an inclusive preschool, meaning we serve kids with a variety of needs, but we have incorporated a program into our preschool where an adult with disabilities works and volunteers with our kids for 2 to 3 hours a week. Kids get to know them and learn them and appreciate them and all their differences. And it started 4 or 5 years ago when Jeremy's family was having a hard time finding meaningful work for him. And now he is our star. He is one of our ambassadors. Jeremy actually has his own Jeremy Brown Family Fund. This is how we can show that we see the greatness in all.
And do you have one more that you want to highlight here?
This is how excited we are for Giving Hearts Day. This is how we want people to feel when they walk in our doors at St. John Christian Preschool. Come, see what we do.
Well, that's wonderful, Jan. Thank you so much. You can find St. John's Preschool at givingheartsday.org. Help to change a life, a family, transform them, and also dramatically impact the trajectory of their bright, bright future and our community as well. Jana, thank you so much for joining us on Ghd Tv.
Thank you.
As Jana steps off the stage, we're gonna just keep moving on with the live stream here from GHD Live at the Live Wire headquarters. And so executive producer Aaron is with us this year. For some time to time, you might hear her off stage and we'll have some fun. At this time, I'd like to welcome Amber from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, North Dakota to the stage. Amber, welcome to GHD TV.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've got a lot of chairs up here. We are shuffling for some additional guests. So, Amber, could you tell us, well, first of all, I'm sure everybody knows what Blue Cross Blue Shield does, but just in case we've got some people that don't, could you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah. Well, I'm Amber Blomberg, and I'm the Community Partnerships and Caring Foundation Manager at Blue Cross. And through our foundation, our mission is just to better the health and well-being of North Dakotans and their communities. So what better way to help support our mission than to give back to Giving Hearts Day, because we are a grant-giving foundation. So in my role at Blue Cross, I get to meet with all these different nonprofits across the state. We do have 9 different offices across the states, which is great because Giving Hearts Day, there's so many nonprofits, just not here in the eastern part of the state, but all over. So I meet with them and just listen and learn about their missions and how we can partner and make sure they're sustainable for years to come, to make sure that our state is the healthiest place to live, work, and play.
Well, that's absolutely outstanding, and we applaud your efforts all year round for what you're doing to facilitate that mission. Could you tell us a little bit about what your organization has done for Giving Hearts Day?
Sure, we're doing 3 different things. So the first thing we had is our employees got to go out and vote on what favorite charity they wanted to see Blue Cross give to on Giving Hearts Day. So the top 5 will be getting funds from us this year. I'm not sure what all of them are yet. I do know Lincoln Elementary School and Willow Park Elementary School will be getting some funds. The second thing we did, so to encourage our employees at Blue Cross, they always get 16 hours of volunteer time throughout the year. And to incentivize them in January, if they went out and volunteered, they'll be getting a $25 gift card to use today. So we had 130 employees that went out and volunteered, so they'll be getting that today to give to their charity of choice. And thirdly, we're really excited to partner with Brooks Harbor Elementary School and Liberty Middle School. They'll be getting our 100 gift cards to give to their kiddos. They engaged in what is kindness bingo. So on the bingo cards, it was either they had to do different random acts of kindness, whether it be opening the door for someone, saying something nice, helping your parents clean up after supper, shoveling the sidewalk, etc. We just thought that was a great thing to invest in, really getting the next generations of givers to know that they can make a difference in this world and to really instill that philanthropic spirit really early on in life. And it was just so rewarding hearing these children tell me what nonprofits they were going to give to. One of the Liberty School, Landon went there, so a lot of them were wanting to give to Landon's Light Foundation, and one of them had an autistic kiddo in their class, so they wanted to give to the North Dakota Autism Center. So it was so heartwarming hearing these kiddos think more about others than themselves, and just really, it was just heartwarming.
Well, and I think that's such a wonderful example about, why finding causes to support is so incredibly impactful for us, is that it's part of an innate calling that we have as humans to want to contribute, to be a part of community, to have something bigger than ourselves. Absolutely. And we really applaud your efforts. Could you share a little bit about how you feel like this has impacted the team and the employees at Blue Cross Blue Shield and the foundation team?
Yeah, well, giving back, it just feels good, and it makes, there's statistics out there, it makes you have lower blood pressure, lower depression. When you're taking care of yourself, that's really important, obviously, to us as a healthcare insurer, and just really, we encourage our employees to give back not only today, but every day, and just making sure it's just so important to support these nonprofits. You never know when you're gonna need to possibly use one of them, and just making sure that they're around for this community again, so it's just the healthiest place to live, work, and play.
Well, Amber, we greatly appreciate the Blue Cross Blue Shield efforts on Giving Hearts Day and all year round and what your foundation is doing. And it's incredibly impactful. And thank you so much for representing the cause so well here today on Ghd TV.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, Amber, thank you so much. And we're going to continue rolling on with the live stream. If you're just tuning us, we're here at the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation, Ghd TV, all day long. Come on up, Jill and Erica for Ronald McDonald House. Hey! I like these glasses.
Thank you.
We're feeling festive.
Well, I absolutely love it. All right, Ronald McDonald House. Jill and Erica. Jill, could you tell us about Ronald McDonald House, your mission, and what do you do?
Absolutely. So at the Ronald McDonald House, we provide housing for families who have kids in the hospital. So we want to make sure that families can stay together, that they can be there for all those medical decisions, that their siblings have a place to play, and that the whole family has a place to feel like home.
Oh, well, that's absolutely wonderful. And Erica, you look like you're very festively decked out for Giving Hearts Day. Could you tell us why you're so excited today?
Absolutely. Giving Hearts Day is such a big day for all the nonprofits in the region. It's such a generous time, and it's really humbling to be at a nonprofit this time of year, but especially at the Ronald McDonald House, we see such a great support of our mission, and it really helps us open doors for families to stay at the Ronald McDonald House.
Well, and Jill, you've got this lovely prop here, could you tell us about the theme of your campaign this year and where money is going on Giving Hearts Day?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've been doing for the last couple months is talking to people about the fact that their giving heart can be the key to opening the door at the Ronald McDonald House for Families in Need. Last year we served over 500 families, nearly 200 more families than we did the year before that. So we have a lot of people that need our help, and you can be the key.
Well, and this is absolutely a wonderful campaign, and how tangible. And, would you be willing to share, you have so many, but just the story of a life transformed by the Ronald McDonald House?
Absolutely. Just this weekend, we had our Sweetheart Ball, and we had the Davidson family come and speak. They have 5 children, and their 5th one, when he was born, needed a little extra time in the NICU, and mom was also having some health complications. They talked about the fact that having a place to stay, what that meant to them, what it meant to be able to be close to their child, to get the rest that they needed to recover and get well so that they could take care of their son, and how much it meant to their family to know that they were well taken care of when they were away from home. You know, it's scary to be away from home. It's scary to be in a community you maybe don't know that well. And probably my favorite part of their story is their 4 other kids got to come and visit towards the end of their stay in the hospital, and they were super jealous because they said it was so fun to be at the Ronald McDonald House, so they were having a great time using all of the things we've designed for kids.
Well, I love that you've done such a good job of creating a home that, somebody actually wants to come back. At least the kids do. Parents know what it means to be there, so they don't. But, I can just imagine what it's like to get a home-cooked meal, to know that you're at a place that's safe, that you can come and go as you please, and also you're not, paying exorbitant rates to stay in a hotel for a very, very long period of time for some of these families.
Absolutely. Families can stay with us at no charge. If they ask what they can pay, we say just $20 a night is the only donation we would ever want from a family, but over 80% of our families pay absolutely nothing to stay at the Ronald McDonald House, and that's the way we like it, and we could not do that without the support of our generous donors.
And today, Giving Hearts Day, if people follow along on our social media channels, if you've never been to the Ronald McDonald House, different levels of donations will open doors to see what we offer in our house for families. So follow along on social media.
And, I think we've painted a good picture here of, so let's just imagine that you've got a kiddo who's sick in the hospital. You're not sure about how long it's going to be. It could be touch and go. You're at a high stress point. The Ronald McDonald House is there. It's going to help to keep your family close. It's a home away from home. Could you share a little bit, what's going on at a regular day for all of you that are on staff, and maybe a little bit about the volunteers that help to make this experience so comforting for the families?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's a busy place every day. We have a really small team that staffs our house 365 days, 24 hours a day. So you can find us cleaning guest rooms, mopping the floor. We have a group that comes over every Friday, a group of volunteers, and helps us mop the whole first floor, which is awesome. We might be, planting flowers in the spring. We might have people that are cooking, baking. Today we've got groups coming over to make lunch, supper, root beer floats in the afternoon. So it is always a fun place. One of the cool things, we have some interns this last semester and this semester that have been doing art projects with the kids. So last week they were making hearts for Valentine's Day, and then this week they have a different heart project for Valentine's Day. So there's always something going on, and that makes it really just fun and active, and gives everyone a chance to connect.
Well, and who is doing all of this food? So I've seen in your newsletter that people rave about that there are these home-cooked meals. How does that happen?
That comes all from volunteers. We try to have a volunteer group come in every night of the week to prepare a meal, and we just have such great support from our community that we've been able to do that. It's been really wonderful. I think in January we had 29 meals prepared for our families, which just makes a huge difference when they've been at the hospital all day long.
Well, it's just great. I mean, I love this, that you can be a key to open the door for families that need a place to stay, a home-cooked meal, and to just not think about the basics while their mind can be on helping with hope and healing for their young one.
Yeah, everyone, every little bit counts. Every little bit makes a difference, and it's going to be a great day.
And one quick thing too, as we move to or close the segment, but and you may have said this, but where are you located, and maybe just once again, what does a contribution do on this day for Ronald McDonald House?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're located here in Fargo. I'm 4757 Agassiz Crossing South, which is a little street just east of the new Sanford Hospital. And this money goes to make sure that no family has to worry about ever paying for their stay. They don't have to worry about affording a hotel, paying out for meals. When they stay with us, they can stay at no charge. They can get a meal, they can get a really comfortable bed, and they can get a support system to help them through a really difficult time.
Well, Jill, Erica, thank you so much for joining us here on Giving Hearts Day TV. You can find Ronald McDonald House of the Red River Valley at givingheartsday.org, and you can help to be a key that opens the door for a family.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both. If you're just joining into the live feed, we are coming to you from the live wire stage here at Dakota Medical Foundation. We'll be broadcasting all day. If you're in the area, stop by, have some Colorado Jack popcorn, a cup of coffee, meet some of these great organizations. We've got volunteers to help take your contributions at any time. We are joined. Sawyer, you can sit wherever you're comfortable. Would you like to move to this one? Maybe we'll take these two. Sawyer, I love your shoes.
Thank you.
You are in the spirit.
Thanks.
And I love this too.
Oh, thank you.
If I could pull that off, I would probably wear one as well.
Yeah.
Sawyer, we're so pleased to have you join us. And, for the audience that's listening that has not heard your story, could you tell us about how you first got going on your journey with Waterworks?
Sure. So my dad went to Africa 2 years ago, and he came back and he told me stories, like the one of Brian. I'll share this quick one. He went to the well every day with his little sister, and then one day she drowned. The next year he came back, and a puff adder, it's kind of like a cobra, it's a snake, bit his arm, and he had to get it amputated. So really, all this for just water? And I was so surprised. I didn't know this was happening. So I wanted to do something. So I started selling cookies and pop and water at my grandma's garage sale to help. And my main goal was $50 because that is clean water for one person for life. And I didn't get $50, but I got 188. I didn't know Grandma had so many friends. So I wanted to do way more. We posted the stories on Facebook. I got more money. People bought more cookies. Grandma got tired of making the cookies. And then I decided I want to do more. So I partnered with my church, Hope Lutheran, to make these beautiful Shitenge bags.
Ooh.
And I sold about 300 of these, and every single bag that I sold had a...
Here, I can hold your mic for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sawyer label. So they were Sawyer bags. So it was pretty awesome, and each bag was $50. And it still is. And that was enough for a life. So I was saving so many lives. I was so happy. And then at this one presentation that I was going to, so many people, I had so many leftover bags that people didn't need. And they're like, oh, we bought these, but you keep the bags. So somebody said, go help a foundation that needs them. So I chose the Jeremiah program, and I brought the bags over, and I was just expecting to drop them off. And they said, no, 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 no. You need to come to our graduation thing. They've got this program. It's really cool. And it was this party with the mom, so I went there, told them my story, and it was awesome, and I gave them the bags. And then this nice lady, Koya, came up to me afterwards, and she said, I want to work with you. And I said, okay. And so we had a meeting, sorta, and she came up with the idea of a book. And I was like, are you hallucinating? Because I could not possibly make a book to save my life. And she was like, no. And I luckily did make one. I wrote and illustrated this beautiful book, Waterworks. And it is $9.99 or $10, I guess, if you want a penny back. And yeah, pretty much, that's my story.
Well, and I'll hold this up here for the camera. You can see this is the Waterworks book. And so, Sawyer, what a remarkable story. You know, you probably have, witnessed that it's pretty uncommon to have somebody your age do so many things to make a difference for others. Could you tell us a little bit about what drives you to do that?
Well, these people in Africa are my age. Like, if that was me, it was like, this is unbelievable. So that kind of sparked something in me, and I guess that's why. So yeah.
Well, it's been just phenomenal to watch all of the things that you have done. Started with cookies, going to bags, now selling books. Who knows what the future is? I think you've got a baseball card of yourself.
Yes. Thank you to Topps for making me this beautiful baseball card with me on it, and it's really cool. And I never thought I'd be on a baseball card because I don't play baseball, but I guess I am anyway.
Well, some people are doing such remarkable things that their pictures ends up on baseball cards, and that is you. Sawyer, once again, just to make sure everybody, especially those that are just tuning in, could you tell us, what a gift does and how to find you on Giving Hearts Day?
So, on Giving Hearts Day, or today, every $10 or more that you donate is matched and then triple matched by Wellspring and World Vision, and it becomes $50 or a little over, and that is enough to save a life. So if you donate just $10, you're saving a life. And then you also get a book and a signed baseball card with that. Keep that in mind. And if you want any more books or any more baseball cards or even a Shatenge bag, then you should visit my website, Waterworks C, and then my Facebook page. Follow my Facebook, Waterworks C, and you can find me at Zanbros, Melberg's on Amazon, and myself.
Well, you have absolutely inspired all of us that get the opportunity to hear your message.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful.
Thank you so much.
So we can find Waterworks at givingheartsday.org. Today it's a triple match, enough to save a life. Plus you get a book and a baseball card. Anything else you would like anybody at home viewing this to hear?
Well, save a life, and it's for a good cause, and I'm sure you want to save a life. Like, you can't do that every day. So, pretty much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sawyer. Thank you so much for joining us on Ghd Tv.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Sawyer, you can find her at givingheartsday.org. Search for Waterworks. It's a triple match. It saves a life. You also get a book and a baseball card of Sawyer. You are remarkable, Sawyer. Thank you for inspiring so many of us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Sawyer. We're going to continue to roll on with Ghd TV here from the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. And we are now at almost 8 a.m., which means we've got our hourly update with Giving Hearts Day Director Amber DeCray. Amber.
Hello. Hello, everybody. So excited to be here. And oh my goodness, look at these numbers already. 8 o'clock a.m. and we're at $2.4 million. That is amazing. Woo! And 4,000 giving hearts. I mean, this is unbelievable.
It is
so awesome.
just so fun to see the numbers continue to go up. And you can join all of those that are watching from office, from your mobile phone, standing in line, getting your coffee. You can make a contribution, givingheartsday.org, find a charity to love.
Absolutely. So I am excited to announce that we have some challenges going on around the top of the hour, every hour. We have 14 challenges, and I'm going to challenge each and every one of you watching at home, at the office, around town, to do something and post us or tag us on social media.
So this will be every hour. Amber's gonna come up here, give us an update on some interesting facts, what's happening, give us the pulse, the beat of Giving Hearts Day, and then issue a challenge.
Yes.
So the first social challenge really is what it is.
The first social challenge, absolutely. And we're doing Facebook. So here's what the first social challenge is. Be the first to bring a heart balloon to Giving Hearts Day headquarters. Scott needs a heart balloon. So the first person who brings that heart balloon to Scott is going to win and be awarded $100 to the charity of their choice. So we are so excited. Make sure that you come on in here, bring up that heart balloon, and we'll make sure that you can nominate which charity you love.
There it is. That's our first social challenge of the day.
Thank you
Bring
so much.
a heart balloon to the live wire stage here at Dakota Medical Foundation, Ghd Tv, and you can help a charity.
Fantastic. Woo.
Amber, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're gonna go now to some video of our correspondents across the state. We wanna check in with them, hear about other great causes that are happening all throughout the region. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay here all day. We'll be continuing to broadcast all the way till midnight. Ghd TV, thank you so much. What are some of the things you were doing ramping up for this and then on the day, and kind of give us a little bit of insight about some things you felt really worked well for, you know, reaching greater gifts and recruiting new donors and keeping the ones that had given previously. Kind of walk us through the New Life campaign, the anatomy of $1 million campaign.
Oh boy. Prayer? Is that at the top of the list? So I think one of the things, and my encouragement to anyone else, and for us again as we plan, and others who are in Giving Hearts Day, and just tell your story. Shout it from the rooftops, if you will. Social media is a friend, and have a strategy of how to do that. We had a plan for telling our story in snippets and bites, and that continual small pieces. Yes, I get going, and I can probably talk long, as folks can attest to, and you can too. But just little droppers of information and stories and real life impact is one avenue that is so important to utilize. We have we plan a newsletter strategically to go out about a week before Giving Hearts Day. And we don't want to have lots of mailers for Giving Hearts Day, but we want to have a plan, right? We don't want to just spam people. And the newsletter talks about some of our stories. It's an opportunity, and it also talks about Giving Hearts Day. I think one of the biggest things is there's so many messages today that it's hard. Is there something that you can do that is different than other folks? Because you got to break through that constant barrage of information. The willingness to sleep outside is probably not for everyone, and actually it wouldn't fit for everyone. But what is something unique that each organization does that they can, again, symbolically shout from the rooftop to say, hey, we are in this with those that we serve? I think that is one of the most important things, because if it's about us as an organization, and that's it, it's kind of like going to Best Buy and having someone try to sell you something that you know they are just trying to sell you something. Love Best Buy. Anywhere, if you go somewhere and they're trying to sell you something, you can see right through that. Be genuine. Regularly get out in front of people. Connect with the media. Our local media is phenomenal in being able to partner with our community to tell positive stories. get in front of them and say, hey, we've got some stories. Would you be interested in sharing those?
Those are really helpful things. I mean, the idea of sort of doing this in drips, so you're not overwhelming yourself with this work and you're kind of opening up access. And I think, really want to applaud you for those that are watching, that creativity came from going deeper into your mission. So we didn't do something gimmicky, you did something genuine, which is being outside fits your mission.
It does.
And telling these stories fits your mission, and what you're dripping on social and communicating with your donors, that's all drawing us closer towards this whole concept of those people that need us, and then also that we need them, and we become better people. All of us get transformed in this process. So in fundraising in general, you've been at the nonprofit executive level for quite some time now. Could you maybe walk us through some of the things you wish you would have known when you first started as an executive director and learning about fundraising?
I think one of the big things is that sometimes people shy away from asking people for money, myself included. And sometimes we have this perception, again, it's this misperception that, well, I don't want to be the used car salesman symbolically, But the reality is, if we go into it with the sense that I'm just telling you about the great work, and I'm going to use you as an example, Scott, what happens at the New Life Center is we help individuals see real change in their lives. We don't ever force it at anyone. Here's a story. Is this something that you would be interested in partnering with? And I have, there's a theory called red ocean, blue ocean. Red ocean, you take a pie chart and you cut a little slice out of it, and that's the red ocean. And if I believe that there are only so many donors, there's only so many dollars to go around, and I have to protect, and I'm going to be very protectionist, I don't believe that. I believe in the blue ocean theory, that there are lots of folks who want to help, and they want to help not just our organization, but other organizations. And maybe in visiting with you, it doesn't line up with your giving values. That's okay. The big thing is get in front of people and tell the story and let them choose if they want to partner with you or not. I can't do that sitting in my office. I need to get out and be in front of people and be real. We're not taking advantage of people by asking them to support our organizations. We're giving them an opportunity to fulfill something that's important to them, because folks feel so good about giving. We know it. It feels better to give than receive. Well, let's apply that same concept. And that was one of the things that was hard for me to learn, is the nervousness of coming in as a new executive director, of getting out and telling that story, that we want to give folks an opportunity to support the great work that's happening in our organizations. I cannot do it sitting behind my desk. Get out and see people.
Well, that certainly gets us to think of a transformational view, is that, this blue ocean is a wonderful metaphor to think that there's great opportunity. What have been some surprises to you? I mean, in addition to getting a $250,000 gift on Giving Hearts Day, but, can you maybe talk a little bit about what's really worked for you to get some of these surprise gifts and some of these other things that, maybe when you first started, you didn't know was even possible?
I think it goes back a little bit, and we're just going to build on what we were talking about. I'm going to use those folks who gave that large gift. They'd only given us 2 other gifts. One was a $100 gift, one was a $200 gift. And if I look at the list of donations that are coming in, and I see that $100 gift, or I see that $200 gift, and my thinking is, that's nice, thank you, but I'm going to focus just on this small segment of my donor population. If those folks hadn't gotten a little love from us, if they hadn't gotten appreciation, and they may not very well have even thought about us when they wanted to make this legacy gift. So that's a large example, but we need to pay attention to the folks who are giving us those gifts. Make phone calls on a regular basis. Write on receipts. I encourage organizations to send out a receipt after every single gift. Oh, Rob, that's costs a lot of postage. Yes, it does. But if I only have communication with that donor, that supporter, that friend, at the end of the year when I send them my receipt and maybe a few other newsletters, they're missing the opportunity to hear the great stories that go along every month. And so I write on a lot of different receipts, just a little note. You know, a handwritten thank you goes a long way. It doesn't have to be a long thing. Pick up the phone and on a regular basis, every week, we look at the gifts that have come in and we divvy up who's calling who. We want to call those donors and at least leave a voicemail to say, we appreciate your gift. If you'd ever like to have a tour, we'd love to give you a tour. Give them that opportunity to see what their gifts are doing. Because I'll use the example here at the mission. If I can get someone in the doors of the organization and show them what happens, it's totally different than if my only communication is through a newsletter. They understand at a different level the impact they're making.
If you think about it, you're really showing them the path forward, and you're operating in a certain way, just like you've shared with us about respect being sort of the foundational layer of what you do here when you're working with your guests that come through. But also in fundraising, it seems like you've got a baseline here or a foundation of appreciation, and so making sure that you consistently do that. You may go from $100, $200 gift to $500,000 because you're consistent in appreciating those gifts that are coming in.
Yep. And it goes back again to that sense of our community. We want our donors to know that it isn't just them providing dollars, then we do the work. It's us together, that sense of community. It's also really good, and if I can get folks to walk through the doors of our building, and for our guests that we're serving, and what we do is we want to sit down and have a meal together. It breaks down that we and they thinking, and it builds up the sense of healthy community. It's so important.
Yeah, we go from we and them to us,
Yes.
and being part of this together,
Yep.
all moving towards a brighter future.
Yeah.
I have a concept for you, which is new segment for the show, but I'm going to do kind of rapid fire. Tell me one or two things that comes to mind with this particular fundraising tool. Fundraising events. What makes a New Life fundraising event successful?
You've heard me say it, and that sense of community. We want volunteers to be part of it. We want those who are coming to be involved, and I want our team to be excited about what's happening. Get volunteers involved. Make it a community event. Make it fun.
So we've talked a little bit about newsletters and kind of appeals, and so first thing that kind of comes to mind that you think works well when you're doing newsletters and appeals?
Tell stories. People don't want to give to organizations. They want to give to people. Tell stories. I don't want to hear statistics all the time. I want to know. I want to hear your story. People love stories. Tell stories.
Well, and I think that you kind of shared this before, and that probably links to what you'd be doing for social as well, and when you're meeting with donors, is to engage them in stories about transformations and real change and what's happening.
Small, clever, small tactic that we have, strategy, whatever, is to tell stories on a monthly basis on every one of our receipts. We have a paragraph sample, and we don't make it up. These are legitimate, real stories. So I've had some folks who give on a monthly basis a small contribution, and they say, Rob, I love getting my receipt. Every month it's a new little story. Just one avenue of getting the folks who give to be involved.
And then when you're meeting with a donor side by side, face to face, what's something that maybe you prepare with, or how do you think about doing one of those visits?
I do have in mind typically an amount. First off, I have a need. We want to talk about a need that the mission has and why that's important to tell and relate it to the difference it's going to make. You don't need to make this stuff up. People think, well, if we're working in the nonprofit world, we have legitimate things that we are doing to help people. Tell that story and say, it's going to take $100,000 for us to provide this program. Is this something that you're interested in partnering in? Yeah, it is. What does that look like to you? You tell me, what does that look like to you? You know, Rob, I think I could give $100. Awesome. We have a $100,000 need, and I know the person I'm going to be visiting with a little bit, and maybe I say, would you be willing? I'm interested. I want to participate. Would you be willing to consider a gift in the range of $60,000 to $100,000? And leave it up to them. And they may say, yeah, I'm in. Or they may think in their mind, boy, this guy thinks pretty highly of me. But no, I can't do that. We could do $10,000. It's a win because it's not a matter of trying to get that person to do something. It's just take them along on the journey.
And does something come to mind where you've done that and been surprised by the result, or really were touched by what the donor was able to give?
What I can say is, and I'll use that exact example, I've got someone in my mind that I used that with. For that person, I had asked, would you be willing to give a gift in the range of $60,000 to $80,000? And they said, yeah, I'll take that into consideration. They met the $80,000 mark. And after that, and this is an important lesson for me too, maybe they wanted me to open the door to a bigger ask. And I think sometimes that's the thing, is we set our vision so small that I'm asking for $60,000 to $80,000, and maybe this individual had the capacity to give $100,000 or $150,000. And maybe in their mind, by saying $60,000 to $80,000, they thought, well, the need is only $80,000, so I'm going to meet that need. What if I said, we have a need that's going to be in the range of $150,000. Would you be willing to participate? Is that something that interests you? Yeah, it does. Again, I should have said, what does that look like to you? Where do you see yourself involved? Because I think when we put limits, people respond to those limits. When we leave it wide open, they respond with a wide open thought.
Well, and you've really given us a lot of wisdom with that, because you're going in with sort of focusing on the mission, and you're using words like partner. Mm-hmm. We're asking questions to involve them in the process. They're part of the transformation that's happening for all of us. We're all moving someplace. This happens to be a person with means, where our guests and clients here are those without means, mm-hmm. but all coming together around being better people and making a better community and a better place for others. And that's really, really valuable advice, and we appreciate you for sharing that today.
It's been a learning journey, I'll tell you that.
Rob, is there anything that you would like to add in final thoughts from just what the mission has done? We've covered and walking through the tremendous programming that you do both here and then out to the community. We've talked about Giving Hearts Day, having $1 million day, getting a $250,000 gift that really came from consistent work for a long period of time. Then using fundraising tools to help reach $1 million and moving forward of telling your story consistently, being open and honest with donors and painting the picture of moving forward. I think you've given us a very, very rich tapestry to look at and to learn from. But is there anything on final thoughts that you would like to share with us on Path to Impact today?
I think one of the best things that I can leave us with, which is something that I want to apply in my own life, is what can I learn from the people around me? Whether it's you, whether it's as I sit next to someone in the dining hall, whether it is a donor who's willing and able to give $100 or $100,000, it does not matter. Because what it does is it enriches me. It's a mindset thing. How can I become a better person by learning from those around me?
And I would like to extend this a little bit more. Could you, getting to that place in life, I think is truly remarkable. And I think people may be interested. How did you find yourself in this role?
Oh, it is so again, a lot of it has, when I was younger, I grew up in a household, youngest of 5 kids, and I found myself getting into lots of trouble with law enforcement, with school. I love telling people that I've been in jail, and not as a matter of bragging by any means, but again, it goes back to that, wait, you? Yeah, it happens. And I remember my mom I was on work release. 19 years old, thought I knew everything, and she'd pick me up and bring me to work and drop me off back in jail. And I remember Mom dropping me off, and thankfully Mom was involved in my life, and so was Dad. And Mom was crying, and 19-year-old macho guy, yes, I did have hair at that point, thought I was pretty cool. And Mom, what are you crying for? And she said some words that I will never forget. She said, I'm dropping my baby off at jail. And as a 19-year-old know-it-all, that didn't change the course of my life, but that stuck with me. And Dad would always pick up hitchhikers, and Dad, what are you picking people up for? They need to get a job. They can. I said, well, no, I have the ability to help people. Why wouldn't I do it? And just those things, fast forward, and one of the things that Mom and Dad always told me was, if you find yourself in trouble, you can turn to Jesus and He will help. And I had no clue what that meant. I had no context for what that meant. And at 25 years old, in fact, at that point, I had gone to college, and my brother and I owned a retail sporting goods store in Detroit Lakes. And by the world standards, I had a cool pickup, I was engaged, I had a house, and all those things started crumbling and falling apart, and my life was just falling apart. And I remember getting down on my knees in my little dinky house in Detroit Lakes, and I just remember, Jesus, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what it's about, but if you are real, take this pain away, and I will commit the rest of my life to you. And that changed my life. That changed my life. And from that point forward, it was not, I just started seeing people as valuable for the first time maybe ever. And the recognition that all of us hurt. All of us have things in our lives that cause pain. And I went from selling shotguns and camping equipment, I love that stuff, to working with people who I've worked at the Ronald McDonald house and worked there as a resident manager and an intern. Worked at Hospice of the Red River Valley, and now working here at the New Life Center. It just has opened my eyes to the fact that we are all more similar than we are dissimilar, and that there is a purpose for our lives, and that we have value. And you know what? It doesn't have to be this big flashy thing. Most of our lives are lived in the mundane moments, aren't they? I mean, most of our lives are. Let's just face it. But for people to care about each other is so important.
Certainly is very evident that these conditions, prepared you and shaped you to be the effective leader that you are. And we thank you so much for sharing your journey of what your path has been to impact, and also sharing what the path for all of us in the community, region, and beyond can also follow a path to make the impact for the homeless, and really all of us to get involved in a greater sense of community through the New Life Center. Rob, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
It's been my pleasure, Scott, truly.
Jason.
Tim.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for doing a little interview to explain a little bit more about what Dakota Hope is doing on Giving Hearts Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anything you'd like to share about Dakota Hope before we sit down and talk about your event?
Yeah, I think we've been participating for a few years here now, and it's just been a real fun event. It's created a lot of awareness for us, let alone the proceeds. I mean, that's of course a blessing too, but I think it's created a lot of awareness, and I think that's really what it comes down to, is that this is a resource that the community needs to know about. So I think it's really important. So it's a really short tour, but I think it's a fun tour, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about Dakota Hope.
All right. See, you kind of decide whatever. So this is our consultation room. This is where we start off with talking with any of the couples that come in, or they may be single, but they come in here. This is where we start with anything that might be going on in their life. They find out, first of all, if they are pregnant, they can take pregnancy tests, and then any concerns that might be going on in life, you know, so they speak with the nurses and they just kind of counsel them and help them with any hard decisions that may be going on in life. So this is a very important room. So we have over here too, we have the different gestation of life and kind of showing where they're growing. And so it's always important for people to see, you know, that we really are encouraging life, you know. And so this is a really important room. Of course, this is our ultrasound machine that we had donated from Knights of Columbus a number of years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then this is called Earn While You Learn room.
Okay.
So like it sounds.
What kind of things can you earn while you're learning?
Right, you know, and we'll show you what you can earn in a little bit. And so learning part of it is they can come in, you know, parenting aspects, you know, how to deal with children and the breastfeeding and just different aspects like that. But they also have CPR and how to work with your finances and just life skills. And then when they spend the time in here, and so the parents, you know, earn points, and they each earn points. And what they do is when they earn the points, they can spend that in our baby boutique. And this is the baby boutique. So this is a part of the Earn While You Learn. So this is what they're earning with the time that they spend with parenting classes. And as you can see, we got all kinds of things here, you know. So of course, you know, brand new. We don't take anything used at all. So, you know, it's brand new toys, clothes, diapers, especially diapers. We don't like to use diapers.
Yeah, that's wise.
Yes, very much so. So, you know, it's, as you can see, we got all kinds of things. You know, we got toys, and we have, you know, items for, you know, sundries, I guess you can call it, and onesies. And so the variance is, you know, like I said, size 1 all the way up to size 5.
All right, so you're doing a special event on Giving Hearts Day for people to come and find out and learn more about what happens here at Dakota Hope.
Right.
So would you like to share just a little bit about what's going to happen on Giving Hearts Day?
Yeah, we're out having an open house starting at 7:30 in the morning, and it's going to go till 6:30 p.m. And basically, it's going to be available like doing tours. Our nurse is going to be here, and so we're going to give tours just like you saw here today. But we're also going to have food, so that's always a good draw.
And that's always a win.
Right. And then, of course, when they're here, if they want, they can write a check. We can accept checks on Giving Hearts Day, or if they want, they can give online, and we can help them with that. So, you know, it's just going to be a good open day that they can meet our staff and just really get to know more about us.
Oh, we're excited to see how Giving Hearts Day 2020 goes for Dakota Hope Clinic.
Yeah.
And any other last things before we go?
Yeah, you know, we have a match this year of $40,000. So,
wow, $40,000. That's amazing.
So
and what generosity for people to give that much ahead of time.
Right. And so we're very excited for that, and just to see what's going to happen on Giving Hearts Day and watching the total and seeing how it climbs. And so dollar for dollar, you know, up to $40,000, and you can give all day, you know, and of course you can pre-schedule your gift if you go to givingheartsday.org and look up Dakota Hope.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Tim. It's great to see you, you know, in your environment.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to making more Ghd Tv videos with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a great part of the Minot Area Collective for Giving Hearts Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nick can be at the end, because he's got to do a radio interview. Okay. Yeah, for it to be after TNT. We're going to live TV right now. You can see. Good dancing, Britt. Yeah, we should get a computer and put the. I'm ready when you are. Hi friends, welcome back to Ghd TV here from the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. At this time, we're gonna go on site in the field with Senior Field Correspondent Emeritus Mike Little. Mike, are you there?
Hello, can you see and hear us?
We can, Mike, you look great.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I think we're ready. Hey, we got Kelsey ready to go. Let's do this. All right, we're live. Okay. Hey, come on in. Let's get the red. And here's Kelsey. Kelsey, come on in. Hey, hello, friends. This is Mike and Chris, field correspondents for Ghd TV. Fitness, excited, starting Hey, Kelsey, walk you. Introduce yourself and tell us what we have going on here. Awesome. And what do dollars do that go Giving Hearts Day to your organization?
Without these dollars, we're not able to impact all of these individuals at home. So whether you're a baby or 80 years old, we have a place for everyone here to get their
Peter, how would you like me to introduce you?
positive and emotional.
Awesome. That's great. And who do we have with us here today?
Well, we've got a lot of
How do, where do you want me to, which restaurant? Okay, all right.
And how many cyclers are we thinking are going to come out today?
Oh, at least 300, I'm thinking. So we'll see. It might be more.
That's incredible. And I saw somebody running around here in a red jumpsuit. Tell us about them.
So this is PMC's mascot. So as you know, our mascot has the 3 different people in the different colors. So this is one of our mascot people.
Awesome. Thank you for wearing this awesome suit today to represent.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate everything you do about that.
Well, good. Well, I think we're still going to roll, but I think you guys are going to get started here, right?
Yeah, we got to get going.
Okay, let's watch. Let's watch this. Okay, they're getting ready to cycle.
All right, are we ready to kick this off? You are our first crew.
We have 10 minutes. If you have your monitor is not on, I need you to push it at the top. There's a black raised button. And don't start until I say go. All right, friends. Your goal is to go as far as you can for 10 minutes. And when I say stop, this red knob in between your legs, you push it down. You are done.
Ready to go. Which team do you think can help you?
I go first.
Like they go, ladies. They look
set. There we go. Turn those brakes on. Start moving those legs. All right. Game on. Winning lots of energy.
Welcome back to Ghd TV, here from the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. We are joined with some special guests in the house. We're here with Peter and Eric. Welcome, both of you. So we've got a little tradition that's happening this morning. If you stop by here at the Dakota Medical Foundation, and let's start with you, Peter Matai, Dakota Specialty Milling. What is Dakota Specialty Milling? How are you involved in Giving Hearts Day? And what's happening here this morning?
Sure, so we're excited to be back again this year to help get Giving Hearts Day kicked off with an oatmeal feed with our Coach's Oats for volunteers and everyone stopping by Giving Hearts Day Central here. And we're promoting whole grain health and healthy eating. And this year we've set up an employee match for all of our employees. So hopefully that, I haven't looked at the portal yet to see where we're at, but hopefully we get good participation. And a couple that hit close to my home are Lend a Hand Up Foundation and also Valley Christian Counseling in town. So just an exciting day for all the great charities involved, and glad we could be a small part of it.
Well, Peter, we really appreciate you coming, promoting whole grain health and keeping us all nourished. And can you tell the folks watching and listening where they can find Coach's Oats?
Sure, so it's mainly at Costco. Sometimes our Costco in town here has it, but it's bigger on the West Coast, but obviously Amazon is the easiest place to pick up a bag of it, or if you run into me, I can get a secret stash to you too, so. No, it's exciting. It's mainly just to feed everyone here today, but if people want to try it on Amazon, that'd be a good place to grab it.
Yeah, and Dakota Specialty Milling, you do quite a bit other products too, so best way to kind of learn about those?
Sure, so we provide everything from wheat, rye, and barley to quinoa, amaranth, and teff in the form of multi-grains into chips, crackers, breads, snack foods of all types in all 50 states and 13 countries around the world right now. So it keeps us busy and keeps us on our mission, so.
Well, we appreciate you being here and also promoting up the charities and Giving Hearts Day with your employees and doing the match with them. Greatly appreciated, Peter.
Absolutely.
And speaking of oats and grains and quinoa, we're joined here with Eric Watson. Eric Watson of the Delta by Marriott, also Mosaic Catering, well known in the community. Eric, could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing here this morning?
Yeah, I'm just here to cook for everybody. So yeah, it's kind of a tradition now. I come and make omelets for everybody here. So not quite as nutritious as some of the grains, but still, I mean, everything's super fresh, tasty omelets. Yeah, it's just been a tradition for a while now. So I like it. It's fun. Come and hang out with you guys and cook for you.
Well, we love having you, and I think I told you before, but Pat Trainer said, I'll call Eric Watson to do omelets, and then we laughed. We're like, Eric Watson, sure, he's gonna come make us omelet. And then he shows up, so I think that's the magic of thinking big, is just asking. So thank you so much for doing that, Eric.
Of course, yeah.
Could you share too, I mean, you're always involved in the community and tied into things, and so Delta by Marriott, that's where people can find you these days, and Mosaic Catering?
Yeah, so we've been in the community for a long time now as business owners, and so community's been great to us. So when we can, we like to help out where we can as well. So I'm not here to support a nonprofit in particular, but I'm just here to support in general. And we've been partners with DMF in some way, shape, or form for years now. So just good to be here. And Delta Marriott's very giving in the community as well. So yeah, we just like to partake in this effort every year and wherever we can through the community. So. Yes.
Well, we appreciate that. And if you're in the neighborhood around Fargo-Moorhead area, stop in. Eric and Peter will be here for at least through the morning. You can have a delicious omelet or some oats and be fueled up to do your giving on Giving Hearts Day. Thank you both for joining us here.
Thank you.
If you want to exit right through there. Thanks for joining us. If you're just coming to the Ghd Tv live feed, we'll be going all day here from the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. And our next guest is going to be Jason Markison. Jason, welcome to the stage. It is so good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you.
Welcome to Ghd Tv. Have a seat, my friend. So could you tell the folks that are watching this and listening a little bit about yourself and the school you are principal of?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Scott. And I'm principal over in West Fargo at Legacy Elementary. We're a K through 5 building, and yeah, we've been a part of GHD here for a few years now, and just I think we're doing a lot of neat things at our school, and so yeah, it's just a great privilege.
Well, and I think something that would be great, Jason, for us to share with everybody that's listening and watching now or later is, you know, you got a real innovative approach of working with your students. And so could you tell us about some of the things that you're doing with Giving Hearts Day and just your approach overall?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, first of all, we're looking at, doing some innovative things. Like, we have our own little television program at school we call Marky in the Morning, and we have kids that run that show, and we have different things. And we had a special guest here a few weeks ago. Scott came, and he was a guest on our show. So it was really great, but it was really a show centered around Giving Hearts Day. It was a special edition of Marky in the Morning, but that's a way that we reach our kids, and they love that, and it's very purposeful, and teaching that way. We live the 7 mindsets, we call them. They're kind of these life and character building skills. We are connected, live to give. Very appropriate for Giving Hearts Day. And a lot of other things we're doing. We have a choice board. We have houses at our school, so we're building more relationships with kids, and we have a little house competition where kids go home with these choice boards, and they're doing things like maybe picking up the toys without being asked. They're out shoveling the driveway, or making a card for somebody, or holding a door. These simple little things, but we're teaching a mindset. And so we're doing those things, having fun with the competition. But I guess ultimately the philosophy, what we're trying to do is, we believe that if we start at age 5, teaching giving heart mindset, that these kids will eventually go out into the communities, and it won't be about if you participate in Giving Hearts Day, it's when is it and how do we get involved, and so that's what we're trying to do.
Well, and as somebody who's had the pleasure of touring the school with you, could you also, let everybody in on sort of, what does it even physically look like? I mean, you got little chairs set up for people to read, and you got, decisions they can make by themselves in the school. Could you tell us a little bit about what happens inside of Legacy Elementary?
Yeah, I think that's a good, good point. Is kind of, we call it maybe voice and choice. We want to have autonomy for kids and staff to where do they learn best, how do they learn best, and create an environment that I always call, when we say, when you're coming to Legacy, whether you're an adult or you're a child, we want it to be a destination school where you can't wait to get through those doors, you can't wait to see what's in the next class, and that we have put purpose into doing that, so that you're always kind of excited for what's next and trying to create experiences throughout the day. And they're all tied to the curriculum and standards and different things, but we believe that if you create this energy in your building where you just can't wait to see what's next, the learning's going to happen both academically, socially, emotionally, and all those other skills. And so I think we all work as a team to create that, and it goes pretty well.
Well, and I think one of the things that's really great about your approach, and for those that are tuning in, Jason Markison, Legacy Elementary School, in addition to how you're empowering your students, that's really inspirational for those of us as adults that get to experience this. I mean, it has a real community feel that you've achieved there. And could you talk a little bit about, the interaction with parents, and then also what you do with your faculty and the teachers that are under your administration?
Yeah, that's a good, I think one word you mentioned that I'd like to touch on is empowerment. And I think that I look at whether it's, again, our students or our staff, I talk about there's kind of 3 tiers. We want to move from compliance to engaged to empowered. And I think that's really what you want to do. Compliance is important. Yes, we do things when we're asked and when we're told and those types of things, but you want to engage people ultimately, but then empower people. If you have empowered individuals, this is when you really get moving. And one of the sayings I like to say at Legacy, it comes from one of the great movies, Back to the Future, from old Doc Brown, was roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. And I say that because if it's best for kids, if it's best for our building and it hasn't been done, we'll put a trail down, we'll blaze a trail for others to follow, and we believe in that. And if we all, again, work together to accomplish that, I think it's pretty great to be a part of.
Well, Jason, you have inspired a community, and it's been remarkable to see what happens inside of your school and what has echoed outside of your school because of your efforts. And, I appreciate you coming on to talk about what you're doing with your students and how they're giving, and then they're also giving of their time, not just of resources. So any parting thoughts you'd like to share with the folks listening and watching today?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I would say too is, what we're trying to do, at the elementary level anyway, is we're trying to, again, create that mindset where we do some fun things, and we actually partner with DMF and Western State Bank, helping with some little seed cards and stuff that work for these kids. They earn them in these house competitions. But ultimately, we want them going home, having conversations at home about what the giving heart is. I'd like to give. I want to look at some place I can maybe give, and maybe it's an allowance or something they earned, or they have but just if you have these conversations, I think that's how you have that ripple effect, and you start spreading that around. And so ultimately, these are some of our philosophies, but I keep talking about team. It's not about me, it's about the teachers, it's the staff as a whole, our kids, and when we all have that mindset together, and you just do the little things, then you make a big change.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for your inspiring message, the way that you are influencing young minds and also many, many, many more. So we appreciate you coming on the show and your great efforts in this community.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
If you're just tuning in, we're here, Ghd Tv, at the live wire stage at Dakota Medical Foundation. Thanks for tuning in. We've got over 500 causes in Giving Hearts Day this year, making a remarkable difference. Find them, givingheartsday.org. Find a charity or two to love. We ask you to bring your friends, bring your family. Let's experience the joy of giving together. And speaking of remarkable causes, it gives me incredible pleasure to introduce you to another amazing charity, Bio Girls. You can sit there if you want.
We're trying to get this figured out.
You do that. This is, welcome to live streaming, everybody. So we're gonna talk about planking. Okay, never mind. Our executive producer, Aaron, is giving me notes without any context, also part of live streaming. I hope you're enjoying our outtakes that will be all put together in a nice montage later. We're here with Bio Girls. I'm so glad that you could join us. Could we maybe start with a round of introductions, and then we'll talk about your organization, the great work that it's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to?
My name is Mandy. My name is Mandy, and I represent the Dilworth Bio Girls site.
Okay.
So I'm Kathy Edwards, and I'm serving as a site director at our Triumph West location.
Oh, fun. I am Katie Stensgaard. I am at our Atonement location, which we're excited. We're in our first year, so yay.
Yeah.
And I'm, is this one?
It will be.
It will pick up. I'm Amy, and I'm the site director out in Castleton.
Well, one of the fun things about being live is you just never know what's gonna happen. So glad for all of you that are watching, you get the excitement of surprises. This is really remarkable. I mean, already we have a representation here of different communities and different churches. So, could you tell us a little bit about what is Bio Girls and what its mission is?
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure who to ask, so I figured I'd just lean into whoever was coming close. Yeah.
So Bio Girls is an organization that was meant to help raise self-esteem in young girls. And we do this through acts of service for ourselves, but for the community. And we also incorporate an element of physical fitness. And so it started out as a running site. So for 12 weeks, the girls train, and at the end, they run a 5K together. It's for girls grades 2 through 6. And BIO stands for Beautiful Inside and Out. And it's faith-based, and so we incorporate a lot of biblical concepts. And it's a really great program. Everyone that I talk to, I commonly hear like, oh, I wish a program like that had been around when I was growing up. And yeah.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, Missy. Nice to have you.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for the great overview, Kathy. I know they're here thinking that they're going to be talking more about Bio Girls. But actually, we want to use this opportunity to say thank you.
Well, thank you.
So this year, Bio Girls will reach over 2,000 girls across the upper Midwest. And all of our 52 locations are 100% volunteer facilitated. So it's women like these 4 up here that step up, and yes, it's all women today, that step up and say, this is important. This is important for our girls, for our communities. I wish I would have had this when I was young. And so they give countless hours, love, energy. They put their whole heart and soul into our program. And so I wanted to do something special today for you guys. While Scott continues to ask questions, I will be doing something. But before that, I want to recognize how many girls you each individually have impacted over your term of service. And so I have a special little sheet here for each of you. Not sure how to do this with a microphone.
I'll come help.
Okay. All right, Mandy. Mandy has been involved at the Dilworth site for a couple of seasons. She has impacted directly about 120 girls in her community. Thank you. Katie.
That's me.
First year site, getting started here soon. Or is it, did it start?
Next week.
Next week.
Next Tuesday.
Yes.
close.
Getting started. They have 40 registrants. She'll be impacting 40 girls this year. Let's do this one first. Kathy has been a mentor at a couple of our locations, and as she mentioned, she's a site director this year, so she has directly impacted about 100 bio girls over her service. And Amy has been involved for a long time. We're so grateful for Amy out in Castleton. She started as a mentor and then took over as a site director when the site director moved to Iowa. So she has directly impacted approximately 240 girls in Castleton. So we are so thankful. Now, while Scott continues to ask questions, as a way to show gratitude, I'm going to plank the entire time. So
I'm impressed already.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So while Missy planks, I'm going to look at our executive producer, Aaron, and make sure that we can make this a very long segment. We're going to begin, one question I have just beginning here is, could you tell us, about a life transform? So beautiful inside and out. And could you tell us a little bit about what a struggle for somebody in the age group of these girls is facing and what Bio Girls has done?
Well, I think, like Kathy said, I wish we had this program when I was young because, I think a lot of the issues that we had back then, we have now. I think some of those things don't change, but I think they are faced with different problems that we may not have, like social media problems, cyberbullying, just all things where beauty is portrayed maybe not in a positive way. And so I think they encounter different things, and that's why I'm so grateful for this program because we cover all of that. We cover a spectrum of issues dating back to our years till now, the things that they deal with. So. Yeah.
I'm feeling really bad for Missy right now. We could take turns. Do you want me to
get ready?
We can take turns. So could you, as a dad of young daughters, personally, I would like to ask, what does this mean for them when they get back to school? How does this impact their lives when they're, going back to all the challenges they're going to face, particularly in the school system?
I think I'm also a school counselor, and so I see this kind of on a daily basis, working with kids, and there are certain things that you have control over, right? And then other things you don't. We can't control how we look. That's out of our control, right? That's a genetic thing that we have no say in. But the things kids can control are the friends that they choose, or the kindness that they can have, or the acts of service. And I think we notice an impact in our girls when they go back to school. They influence their friends in really positive ways. And I think that something this program does is helps those girls to understand there's more to life than just your outward appearance. And the things that are important are the friends that you choose, the caring that you can show, those volunteerism acts. And I think that's something this program instills in those girls. And we see it when they come back for another season and they want to be a part of it again. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. As much as I'd like to end this plank, I do have a question, a side plank. A question, how the acts of service. And so, how was this determined that this would be one thing that would help to move us out of our own space and worrying about how we feel about ourselves?
Well, I would say, and just, I work at the church where we're going to have the Bio Girls, so that's very impressive. So I would just say that just doing service projects with my own kids, it kind of moves you out of your own headspace, and sometimes that's, even as an adult, that can be our biggest problem. There's just a beauty in serving others, and when you take the focus off yourself and you can get out of your own headspace, it just kind of moves you on. And a lot of these girls are hurting, and they deal with a lot of stuff. So I think there's almost healing in helping others too. I'm trying not to be distracted. You guys are amazing.
You're doing fantastic. I'm not so sure about my abs, but I think this is, one more question. How does this impact parents as well?
So I think it's very possible that parents can see a real change in their daughters throughout the 12 weeks. They're getting out of their comfort zone, they're learning new skills, they're meeting new friends. I know last fall when I mentored at our dance site, I saw my daughter doing all of those things, you know, coming kind of out of her shell and learning how to get along with other kids. And the community service project we did, we went into a nursing home and they did their little dance routine. And it was really great to see them interacting with the residents. And so I think it's very common for parents to see a change